RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What's good, everybody? RCWR Show, Monday night, April 26, 2021. What is good, people? Hope your weekend was pretty decent. Hopefully the week is going off to a very good start for you. We're streaming live on the multiple outlets as always. Take your pick. We got the Twitter going on. We got the Facebook. We got the YouTube. We got the Twitch. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Join in on a lot of the discussions we're going to be talking about on the show for tonight. I'm definitely going to be doing an abbreviated version of the show tonight as I got work in the morning. So I also got my final exam I got to work on for my English class. So that's been definitely getting my utmost attention. I was kind of under the impression the last assignment that I did, which I got graded for, it was an A. I was kind of under the impression that was going to be it. I'm done. But apparently there's one final, the ultimate test, the final test that I got to do. And my professor pretty much laid it out for me and the rest of the class. She pretty much had said, look, this is so easy to do. If you want, you can hammer it out in a day. And if you're able to turn it in to me before the week is out, you don't have to take any more of the classes. You're done because you'd complete the final assignment. The final assignment isn't even due until, I think, May 7th, May 8th or something like that. So it's kind of one of those, what to do. But see, here's the dilemma. I, once again, need a editor and a proofreader. So once again, I'm going to be going with my boy that hooked me up last time. He helped me get my A. So I'm like this, if it ain't broke, keep on rocking, keep on rolling. But yeah, so we're going to kind of do a nice little abbreviated show for you guys. I am going to be coming right back though. I'll give you guys the programming notes a little bit later on in the show. But we do have kind of a little bit of a shakeup with regards to the program. And again, I'll tell you guys about it. It's nothing too bad. None of you guys need to be all, oh man, what the fuck? I'll give you the skinny on it in a little bit. So what did you guys think about Raw tonight? Sound off. Let me know what you had thought. Look, for me personally, going through the motions, man, it just really has not felt like Raw after WrestleMania. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. We've been experiencing it many times over the years. That great buzz, that great excitement to be watching WWE programming, you know, particularly after Mania, because we're getting the Mania fallout, the surprises, returns, and all that good jazz. And it's just been, honestly, one of the most lackluster Post Wrestlemania seasons that I can recall in quite some time. And it's kind of nerve-wracking, isn't it? It really is. I was interacting with a couple of folks in the Discord earlier tonight. Y'all may notice that follow me on Twitter. I haven't been tweeting anything out these past couple of days, just kind of a friendly reminder for you guys. I actually got put in Twitter detention. Yeah, your man got put in Twitter detention. And in case you missed it, basically, there was some silly little thing that Tucker Carlson had posted. Or rather, it wasn't even Tucker Carlson that posted it. I actually was responding to a post that the people over there at, what's their name? The Lincoln Project? I don't know how many of you guys follow the Lincoln Project. I follow them. I look at some of their stuff from time to time. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And they had like this sound clip of Tucker Carlson. I won't get into the specifics, but basically, you know, I let my voice be heard, and I said verbatim I just wish I could punch him in the face so bad. That's what I said, word for word. And the next thing you know, man, I wasn't even scrolling on Twitter for 45 seconds. And the next thing you know, detention. So my detention is up late Tuesday night. So like right before midnight. That's when my penalty box. That's when I can finally come out. So I've been making up for it. I've pretty much been posting a lot more on the Facebook, interacting a lot more with folks in the Discord and everything. And as it alluded to Raw tonight, I said, man, you know what? When it comes to WWE Raw, Jesus Christ, man, we're kind of like at that point right now where it really isn't popping. You know, I never thought that in 2021 I'd be more excited to check out NXT, SmackDown. Definitely NWA. Loving what's been going on with NWA. Looked at a little bit of MLW. I'll talk a lot more about that on Wednesday's show, but I'm fucking with MLW. I mean, as always, I normally fuck with MLW, so no surprise I'd be fucking with them once again and everything. But when it comes to Monday Night Raw, yeah, it's kind of one of those, you know, you're trying to stay awake watching them damn shows. It has really, really become tough. I never thought I would be more into the WWE programming from Sunday night with Biography, Most Wanted Treasures. I never thought I'd be more interested in just all the other things that I talked about. But then when it comes to Monday Night Raw, I'm going, yeah, well, let me go ahead and turn this on. I guess because it's related to the show, and I always try to go into it a bit upbeat. I'm sure many of you do as well. You try to go into the Monday Night Raw, feeling pretty upbeat and everything, but sometimes it's like, man, will remind me while I'm watching this again. Why is it I'm watching this again? Because this is a tough one right here. That's just how it is. And tonight was definitely one of those cases. And look, not for nothing, I actually gave WWE a head start because while I was a little bit tied up, you hear that little sound. I'm just saving something in the background here. Don't mind that. But I gave WWE a head start. I said, okay, you know what? I'm tied up with some assignments here. Let me go ahead and let me work on my stuff here. I'll give WWE a little bit of time. And, I let about 90 minutes go by. I didn't watch WWE Raw tonight for the first 90 minutes. And then I said, okay, let me go ahead. Once I was done with my schoolwork, I said, let me go ahead. Let's see what's going on here. And I found myself fast forwarding through so much. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. But look, I'll try to talk about some of the positives tonight. I'll definitely try to talk about, areas that could definitely use some improvement and all of that. So I guess the first major thing, let's go in kind of hard here. By the way, I do see what you guys are saying in the chat, so I'm not ignoring you guys. It's just kind of one of those. I got to pick my spots wisely. Like if I see something is linking up to what I'm talking about, I'll definitely do my best to show you some love. But otherwise, just, y'all kick back, converse amongst yourselves. You can definitely react to some of the things that I'm saying as always. But Charlotte Flair, let's go in strong. Charlotte Flair, we heard all the rumblings that was going on with her from last week's Raw. We saw her in storyline get suspended indefinitely for attacking the referee, whose name almost sounds like Eddie Guerrero. I'm just going Eddie, right? So weird seeing that she's back on our TV sets the very next week after it was revealed in storyline she is supposed to be suspended indefinitely. You're trying to figure out, okay, what the hell is going on here? This doesn't quite make any sense. So Sonya Deville apparently is the one that got the ball rolling. Again, in storyline, she's the one that got the ball rolling, having Charlotte Flair come back to the WWE and everything. She pretty much had served as that conduit for Flair to get back into the WWE. And pretty much Charlotte got hit with a pretty heavy fine, $100,000, which she paid in full. She also issued an apology to referee Eddie. And with those conditions met, she pretty much was reinstated into the WWE. And this wasn't just a case where, oh, right, Charlotte Flair, she's reinstated, whatever. No, not only was she reinstated, she was actually back in action tonight. So you're seeing all of that. You're going, okay, wait a minute. What's the 411? What's really going on here? What? And you could only rewind it back to last week because Charlotte Flair and her man Andrade, they had a few choice words to say to one Dave Meltzer, everybody's favorite uncle that no one likes to really address, and for very good reason. Okay, so let's really set this up properly for you guys here. I'm kind of going a little bit off of memory, but I do have my notes handy here just in case I need them. So basically, Meltzer went on his show last week, and with regards to Charlotte being written out of WWE programming, he jumped out there, pretty much said, I guess according to his sources, whatever you want to call it, that Charlotte Flair was having some type of a procedure done. I believe in his exact words, she was getting some type of dental work done, basically. And for this one, I actually am going to go directly to my notes here and pull up the exact quote, which he said, she's just having a complete makeover, So, I mean, we can't even go with dental. See, at least I went nice there and kind of went with dental. We can't even go dental. No, we said complete makeover. Oh, Dave, come on now. She's just having a complete makeover, that's just basically what's happened. So it's just one of those things, that's the trademark of Dave Meltzer, by the way. You can tell he's doing a lot of searching when he's trying to answer some type of question. He's not exactly trying to say, I don't know, or that's a very good question. Let me come back to you with regards to that, as I need to research that a little bit more. Let me actually touch base with my sources and get back to you. None of that shit. They make real subconscious about your looks. You heard me right. They make you real subconscious about your looks when you're a woman in wrestling, and it's just one of the negatives about it, but it's a reality. So that's pretty much what he had said on this show. This got back to Charlotte Flair. She actually blasted Meltzer out on Twitter, and she said, and I quote, "Yeah, just listen. I thought Dave Meltzer would have learned his lesson last time commenting about women's bodies, but apparently I'm fair game. So I get to respond again to a rumor about my body again. You know what? This is when I stop. Dave, go to hell. You have my phone number. It would take you 30 seconds to ask as opposed to giving straight crap to your listeners. Grow up. For you, of all people, to comment on a woman's looks, do you have any shame, decency, or professionalism left at all? Find a mirror. Look hard, Dave." So, now let's really dissect this here. Once again, Dave Meltzer, let's really dissect this. I totally understand where Charlotte Flair is coming from. I'm not being devil's advocate either, by the way, but let's just read what Dave said yet again here. Sometimes it's all about a way with words. She's just having a complete makeover, you know. That's just basically what's happened. So it's one of those things, you know. They make you real subconscious about your looks when you're a woman in wrestling. Okay, so it's safe to assume they, meaning WWE, he's referring to WWE, makes you real subconscious about your looks. Let's continue on. When you're a woman in wrestling, and it's just one of the negatives about it, but it's a reality. All right, so it's safe to assume that Meltzer was making a assumption about what was going on with Charlotte Flair. He was making pretty much it kind of came off as a educated guess. I would love to know just straight up if this was just, you know, hey, we saw this happen to Charlotte. What's the real deal? You know, I'm wondering how exactly it was pitched to him. If it was pitched to him in the form of a question, but you know what? It's irrelevant at this point, because even if it was pitched to him as a question, the fact that he answered just like this, you know, it shows a poor lack of journalism, especially when it comes to the integrity part of journalism on his part. The fact that all he had to do was just pick up the phone. You know, if this is true, and why would Charlotte Flair lie about something as simple as, you have my phone number, it would only take you 30 seconds, pick up the phone, call me, give it to you right between the eyes. So the fact that Charlotte Flair, you know, blasted him the way that she did there, you know, that just really kind of leaves me scratching my head, and just number one, say, okay, well, you know what, Dave, if you've got that type of access where you can just pick up the phone and find out what's going on, you know, once in a blue moon, I'll come across some stuff where, you know, I'll be told, you got to sit on this. We're not ready to put this out just yet. You got to sit on it. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Because once in a while, I'll come into some news. Sometimes I'll break some news here, you know, or if we get an opportunity to interview somebody or whatever. Sometimes if some stuff goes down and I'm trying to find out some information for accuracy or whatever, once in a blue moon, I'll reach out to some contacts, see if I can do some digging around, you know, ask behind closed doors, you know, what's going on here? You know, what do you know? What can you tell me? You know, of course, this is off the record, so I'm not mentioning your name or anything like that. You know, what's the 411? And, you know, that's how you can go about getting, you know, the type of information that you need and everything sometimes. But even at that, you know, you'd be surprised, you know, even if it's a case where you tell somebody, look, you can remain anonymous, you just tell me what's going on off the record, you still have some people that just don't feel comfortable and don't want to say anything in fear that it's going to somehow get back to them and everything. But, you know, for Charlotte Flair to say Meltzer has her number, and all he would have had to do was just call and find out what's going on. Now, as it stands right now, Meltzer has yet to issue some type of an apology. You know, and it's kind of interesting because some people actually ask the question, you know, well, what does he have to apologize for? And it's kind of like one of those, well, do we really have to even address that? Do we really have to address why should he apologize? I mean, really? My mind was kind of taken back a little bit. The fact that some people actually asked this question, and I just couldn't help but say, well, maybe these people don't really know the full story, or they're that oblivious to just all the events that had occurred or whatnot. But we're talking about something that it turns out was not accurate whatsoever. You guys know, many times over the years, I've always told you guys, whenever it had came, and it kind of almost got to a point where I stopped going to the Meltzer there, because a lot of times, you all know this, you know, he'll put something out there and it'll turn out to be inaccurate. And remember, there was a running theme I used to say on the show here when it came to Meltzer. I used to always say, take what Meltzer is saying with a grain of salt. And that was kind of my nice way of telling you guys, this man is probably throwing darts and just seeing wherever they land. Right? I mean, he's not even fucking, he sees the bullseye with all the numbers and all of that. You know, he sees it. He's not even throwing in that respected direction. He's just throwing the goddamn darts and just hoping they'll stick and they'll hold, basically. So, you know, it's stuff like that. I can't tell you how infuriating it is. As someone that has been part of the podcasting game for almost 10 years now, speaking as somebody that is part of the media genre, someone that is a member of the media. I go on assignments, I cover events, like I said, I interview folks and everything. I take the time to make sure, particularly, and I'm very meticulous about this, when I'm interviewing somebody, I'm making sure that when I'm recording them and everything, transcribing what's going on, I'm making sure that nothing is being taken out of context in any type of form. You know, I take great pride in making sure that, you know, accuracy, facts, take great pride in that. When you start spitballing, you start guessing and all of that other shit, it has a way of coming back to bite you in the ass severely. And in this particular case, it definitely came back to hit Meltzer in the balls, big time. You know, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. You know, if you have somebody's phone number and you can just go straight to the source and find out what the 411 is, why would you not fucking do that and then go on your show the next day or whenever and say, okay, so this is what's going on? Hell, heaven forbid it's a situation where you try to reach out directly to that source and they aren't available. All right, well, you know, you've left your message, right? You left your message. Hey, give me a call back. I saw what played out on Monday. You know, let's talk. I want to know what's going on. Give me a scoop. Give me something there. You know, of course, you can remain off the record there. You know, I'm not going to mention your name, but give me a call back. Let me know what's going on. You don't hear back by the time your show is due. You got to go live on the air or whatever. You can easily just come right back. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the scoop. You know, any minute now, I'm supposed to be getting a text or a call, you know, find out what's going on. So, yeah, folks, just keep it right here because I definitely reached out to my contact. It's a case where so many people in this day and age, they're trying to be first with what they're reporting. They're trying to be first. They want to get those hits. It's all about the clickbaits. Right? It's all about that ad revenue. It's all about, you know, getting that attention to their respective brand and everything. You know, you see this happen so many times over the years. It goes beyond the scope of wrestling too. I mean, just media in general. You see so often the sloppiness of coverage. Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example, not to get too non-wrestling related and too over the head. For this time of night and everything, because we're all, you know, trying to mellow out and everything. But look at the initial tweet that LeBron James had put out there about that officer and what went down with that young 16-year-old girl, Micaiah Bryant. Look at that. Remember that first initial response by LeBron. And look, y'all don't have to, you know, I know some of you guys are big LeBron fans and you may have a different interpretation about what he initially posted and all that, but just hear me out for a second because I don't want you guys to miss the fine point of what I'm trying to tell you guys. But look at his initial response to that incident. You know, and pretty much he was saying when he posted the picture of that police officer, you know, he pulled one of those Goldbergs. You're next! You know, he pulled one of those joints. And you think about the social media presence that LeBron James has. And you're like, I mean, it's a very powerful tool that he has of followers on his social media platforms and everything. And I tell you what, watching the rounds of all the sports shows the next day and just covering that particular area about LeBron and everything, and all of them were pretty much unanimous, which was, on the one hand, you understood exactly where LeBron was coming from when he posted that initially. But now that more information has come out, you're like, whoa, and everybody, again, all the sports shows, they were all unanimous. They were like, very uncharacteristic of LeBron, because LeBron is one of those types of athletes. He is very meticulous, and whenever he's being interviewed or whatever, he's very well prepared. He always takes the time out to research something, even if it's a case where you ask him about something that he doesn't know just yet. You're not going to get an answer out of him. He'll tell you, give me a day or two, ask me that again. I'll have a better idea, because I don't know what's been going on with that. So the fact that even someone like a LeBron James can get caught up in those weeds of that, instant reaction, that's the day and age that we're in. So, I mean, on the one hand, social media has been a blessing as far as helping us being able to connect with loved ones and just all of that, making new friends, all of that. But then on the other side of the coin, there can definitely be a serious case of a lot of misinformation that is being spreaded, or only a fraction of information when you don't have the complete picture, right? So this is kind of one of those deals. When you look at what was going on there with Meltzer, Charlotte, this is definitely one of those deals where, if there's a very valuable lesson to be learned here, is don't believe everything that you're reading and hearing, because unless you're hearing it directly from the source. And I gotta tell you, that's probably the one cool thing particularly I like about WWE. Y'all been noticing that a lot more within recent years. WWE stars, if something is being put out there that they feel is a misrepresentation of them, somebody is getting their sources wrong or story or whatever, you've been seeing it's really cranked up within the last 5 years. You've seen more and more talent on the WWE roster being more and more vocal, really taking it to these dirt sheets that are inaccurately reporting stuff. So now you guys kind of know, when I tell you all, take what that guy is saying with a grain of salt there. I mean, look, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, one other thing you guys got to remember, I mean, we're talking about Meltzer here. This guy is officially on the AEW payroll after all, and Lord only knows how big he creamed his pants when it came to Kenny Omega winning that Impact Championship title. So a little bit of food for thought right there. Well, that's the show. No, I'm kidding. But, so Charlotte Flair in action tonight. Taking on who did she face there? Kind of felt like she took on Dana Brooke there. Let me actually look at my show notes here. I'm almost pretty confident that it was Mandy Rose that she took on. Just bear with me a second here, and I'll have it in about 5 seconds, give or take. I'll have it in about 5 seconds, give or take here. Yeah, Charlotte Flair had took on Mandy Rose. For me personally, look, love Mandy Rose. I'll always have a soft spot for Mandy Rose. But even I can be the realest motherfucker in the room, okay? Even I'll be that motherfucker to tell you, yeah, Mandy Rose had no business in the ring with Charlotte Flair, but for that matter, lasting as long as she did against Charlotte Flair. Look, I like how in storyline this was set up as far as Mandy getting in the ring with Charlotte. I thought that was explained rather, my whole deal though, seeing Charlotte get reinstated And Sonya Deville was basically behind this. And now, you see them go backstage, and Adam Pearce is wondering what the hell's going on here. Why wasn't he included in the loop? Sonya Deville telling him, this is something that got brokered like right at the last minute as we were coming in here. I was trying to get in contact with you, but it was just so chaotic. Pierce really taking that personal. And look, not for nothing, but in the storyline, what we've seen of Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville within recent months, they've kind of been like a tag team doing stuff on Raw and SmackDown, and everything. And bear with me a second here, guys. This is money we're talking. This is money. Bear with me a second here. What the fuck is the question? Hang on here, guys. This is money. I don't play around when it comes to money here. What the hell is going on here? This is money. This is money. Oh, a music video. Okay, hang on a second. No, it does not fit our audience. We do not promote or play music. Okay, you guys got my attention now. Sorry about that, guys. That's money, though. When money hits anytime, I told you guys, I usually am doing ad spots for people. I'm usually doing voiceovers for people that, need help, with little radio voiceover ads and all that. So somebody just hit me up and was like, what they were trying to have me promote, it just, it doesn't align with you guys. They were trying to have me promote something that you guys wouldn't even be interested in. But speaking of interesting, I had an opportunity. I passed on it. I had an opportunity to work out a deal with Manscaped. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of those guys. They make really good razors and all that. I did read up on the reviews for them and everything, but I just decided, what they are offering, way too expensive personally. I mean, you look at those razors that's on there. I mean, something for triple digits, in the double digits. I think the cheapest thing that I saw was maybe about $80, and we're just talking for a fucking trimmer or whatever. And I had reached out to a couple of people. I'm like, what do you think about this? Like, no, dude, jump on it. Go ahead, jump on it. Do it. If they want you to, work with them, do it. I'm like, but I ended up passing. On it because I just kind of felt like, I care about quality, but I also care, I do legit. I care about quality for you, the listeners, and I also care about, okay, that's a fair price. Like, I'm the type of guy, if I legit am going to be using the product, like if I can see myself getting the product, if I am actually willing to come out of my pocket, buy it, and all of that, if it passes me, then it's like, and a lot of the stuff that I've promoted over the years on the show, I've actually used. I've had some people that have tried to hit me up. Hey, look, we just need you to put this over. Okay, and I'm not reviewing this. Like, you're not going to even actually give me the product so I can actually review it? Like, what's up with that? Like, no, we can send it to you. Oh, no, rather, no, that's not needed. We just need you to, promote us and like, yeah, but what if your product is shit? Like, I don't need my listeners saying to me, hey, Lee, I took your advice and I went with blah, blah, blah. And, I had a horrible experience, blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of like, what the fuck? So, if it doesn't pass all my tests, then it don't come to you guys. So take note of that. Any ad that you see, you hear on the shows, that's because I've personally, on my own dime, done something where, I've actually tested out the product and all of that good stuff, and it's passed my test. But, so you got that division that's going on there between Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. We're kind of starting to see those seeds being planted there of a power struggle. a winner take all. Look, if you just ask me straight up from a distance, what do I see ultimately happening here? I ultimately see Sonya Deville reigning supreme over both brands. That's what I see ultimately happening. I see Adam Pearce being written out. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, okay, so what exactly does that mean for Adam Pearce, Lee? Or are you seeing maybe Adam Pearce having a match here or there as, under the WWE umbrella? I would love for that to happen for Adam Pearce. I would love for the man to have a couple of matches there in WWE. I would. I was really pulling for him. I was really hoping that something was going to happen with regards to Mania when it was looking as though it was potentially going to be Adam Pearce, Shane McMahon taking on Braun Strowman. I really was hoping it was going to go in that direction, more for the simple fact that I've been following Adam Pearce's career for a lot of years, and for me, it just would have been a nice little, all right, Adam Pearce finally can check off that one joint on the bucket list that he had a WrestleMania moment, but it never came to be. I don't see something along those lines happening. Now, I could maybe see some type of a elimination joint, like a Survivor Series tag. I could see something like that playing about. But again, we're talking about for the immediate future. I think like within the next 90 days, that power play is going to come in. Sonya Deville just screws Adam Pearce out of the job. She reigns supreme. I can see her being somewhat of a major heel player, impacting both shows. And just with the body language and all that you saw of her when she eventually bumped into Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Remember, they had once again caused little shenanigans all at ringside there with Nia Jax. Well, what was that match there that Nia Jax and them had earlier? I just shook my head and I said, "What corn? What corn?" I just put the TV on mute and I just start talking to my girl because I just wasn't interested in the stupidity that I was seeing. There's a whole big ball of corniness that I was seeing play out before my eyes. What was it there? Let me go back to that one match. Nia Jax, what was it? Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley taking on Asuka, Lana, and Naomi. I just tuned out. I tuned out. I'm just looking at all of those women, and it's like I never thought in 2021 I would even get to a point where it's like, nah, Asuka, yeah, hon, I'm good with you. Seriously, I'm good. But like, yeah, I didn't care. There was a lot of sloppiness in this match too. A lot of sloppiness, a lot of botches in this match. A bunch of good old cornball was going on in this one, but once again, Nia Jax doing the whole slipping and falling. I can't get up shit. I'm like, I just put it on mute and I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it. Team of Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley picking up the dub. Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke at one point during that match, they came out and they basically threw water in the face of Shayna Baszler. How Nia Jax misses all of this, I don't know. She's coming from around the corner. I guess she saw what happened to her girl, and somehow she misses the big ass puddle of water and just obviously, she forced herself to slip on the floor and everything. But yeah, that was just. So Sonya Deville catches up to Mandy Rose and Sonya backstage, and kind of like a punishment type of deal, she puts Mandy Rose in that match against Charlotte Flair. Like I said earlier, Mandy had no business lasting as long as she did in storyline in that match against Charlotte Flair. Just was not believable whatsoever. And didn't particularly care for that. Looking at some other stuff that happened from Raw tonight. You know what did kind of put a smile on my face? Kind of like a little Debbie Downer so far. You know what actually did legit put a smile on my face? RK Bro. I did enjoy seeing Matt Riddle trying to, work things out with Randy Orton. And then Randy Orton actually trying to warm up to Riddle, saying, you know what? I was trying to teach you a lesson last week. And in some form, you were actually able to beat me, okay? But your whole idea of arcade bro, I thought about it, and maybe we can. Maybe we can try something. Let's see what happens. So they teamed up. They teamed up to take on the team of Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And they defeated Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And once again, I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head and I'm going, really? After everything, let me see if I got this straight. After everything that Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, after everything that was asked of them to do, this is how we're repaying Shelton and Cedric. We don't seen them job out for 3 consecutive Raws now. Might even be more than that. But if you guys are keeping track at home, definitely, without a doubt, 3 consecutive losses there for Alexander and Benjamin. I'm not feeling this. I'd be that same guy that said a couple of weeks ago, I would love to see Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin somehow continue on with their feud there with Lashley. Remember that? I even jumped out there and said, man, you got something almost kind of magical there, possibly, if you were to do a nice, cool story arc with Benjamin and Lashley for that WWE title. Yeah, sure. Maybe most people, Shelton Benjamin, WWE, not the way Lashley's being built right now, nah. But it would be an entertaining matchup nonetheless. And yet, we got all this stupid shit that's been going on with them. I mean, ever since the Hurt Business has been broken up. I mean, we haven't even at least seen Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, hey, Drew, the problems that you've been having as of late with these guys that might be associated with MVP. Hey, what's up? You need some boys, we're the ones that can try to hook you up. We're the ones that can try to have your back. What do you say? We haven't even at least seen that kind of story arc / mini rub. It's creatively, it's just frustrating to watch what's going on with Benjamin and Alexander, because we know what these 2 young men are capable of. And man, for them to now be pulled away from MVP the way that they've been pulled, it's very disheartening. It really is, especially when both men made such great strides to perform better as on-screen personas. There's definitely no denying that. They improved greatly as on-screen personas. Anybody remember where Cedric Alexander was when we were first introduced to him? I mean, he's made leaps and bounds. Let's not forget about Shelton Benjamin. Jesus fucking Christ. At one point, Shelton Benjamin remember he was still doing the stupid ass, Shelton, what are you going to have for dinner tonight? And Shelton Benjamin's looking in the air. He's rubbing on his chin. He's looking left and right. And he's finally getting ready to say something. And then he's interrupted, or, that's what was going on with Shelton Benjamin. It's frustrating as hell. You can't go the racist route because you see what's going on with people like Bianca Belair as the champion, Lashley as champion, right? I mean, so you can't try to go the whole WWE being racist. You can't go that route. Convince me otherwise, but you can't go that route. I'll listen to a good argument, but you can't go that route. It just comes off like, wow, so you had this really great thing going on with this stable. This stable could have gone the heights of evolution you could have maybe gone that legacy route, you know. You could have fucking gone Four Horsemen route, you know. You could have gone Nexus, you could have gone Core. You could have had all the potential once it started juicing up there and it was really cooking. It had the potential to eclipse all of those. I don't know about Evolution. Let's put. I don't know about Evolution, but you guys get the point that I'm making. Very frustrating. We're just continuing to job these guys out. More power to those guys. I mean, look, they're getting their TV time and everything, but when is enough enough? When do you put your foot down and say, yeah, you know what, this ain't cool anymore? Man, we could probably be tearing it up in New Japan. We could probably be tearing it up in, you know, MLW, or, you know, let's go over here instead, man. We don't need this. So that just very, very nerve-wracking. Look, RKO, bro. Hey, I'm for it. I'm behind it, but you know, I still can't help but wonder, okay, so when is Orton going to... Here's the other thing that just kind of leaves me going, what's going on here? So let me see if I got this straight. So Randy Orton had this long feud that was going on with Edge. Anybody remember that? Remember that? I mean, that was just, woo. And then he goes into this long feud there with Bray Wyatt and everything. You know, Randy Orton was feuding with Drew McIntyre and all that. And now, all of a sudden, for all the psychotic, mischievous adventures that we've seen Randy Orton on these past several months, now all of a sudden, hey, you and me as a tag team, I think that might work. You know, and he's actually kind of cracking a smile, and he's coming off a little bit, Orton that is, he's coming off a little bit jovial. That to me, I'm really hoping that a turn is coming, that this is just a psychological game that we're seeing playing out, because, you know, I can't help but wonder, okay, so what's this going to culminate to? Because if we're actually going to ride this out and we're looking at our next tag team champions, you know, that's just kind of one of those head-scratching type of deals, you know, but color me curious. I want to see where this goes. But in the back of my mind, just thinking about everything that's been going on these past several months, Randy should still have some serious demons that he needs to be releasing, yo. Crazy shit right there. Hey, you guys been enjoying yourselves so far? You've been enjoying the show. Hope you have been. Please, if you haven't done so already, please go out of your way and make sure you hit that like button, click on that subscribe, hit that bell notification so you know about more content coming your way on a weekly basis. Other than that, I'm just, again, looking at some key stuff. 6-man tag match, New Day, Damian Priest defeated Miz and Morrison with Elias and Jason Riker, or Will Riker as I like to call him. Big old snooze fest for me. I pretty much just was out of that one. Raw opened up with Braun Strowman taking on T-Bar and Mace. I had a hearty chuckle hearing Braun Strowman call Drew McIntyre kid. Follow my lead. We're gonna do this. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you'll learn something, kid. And I'm thinking to myself, Braun Strowman is 37 and Drew McIntyre is 34. Who's the kid again? Nobody is a kid. You know, it was kind of one of those, what the fuck's, you know, I can understand it if it was a Braun Strowman that was 37 and a Drew McIntyre that's 24. Like, you know, okay, all right, almost double the age, almost, okay, I can see 3-year difference stuff. It's just as bad as Good Times. I'm not sure how many of you guys watch the TV show Good Times, but you may not know this little fun trivia fact, but when it came to John Amos and J.J. Walker, you know, remember, John Amos was the dad on the show and everything. And it turns out the age difference between him and J.J., if I remember it right, it was like 5 years, somewhere between like 5 to maybe 7 years of a age difference, some shit like that. And that was one thing that kind of rubbed John the wrong way on the show a little bit, because he's like, hey man, he's like, this really doesn't come off believable to me, la da da da, all that other shit. So yeah, I just had a nice little hearty chuckle seeing that go down. T-Bar, Mace not wearing their mask. You kind of figured based off what we saw from Raw last week that okay, they're maskless now. All right, cool. So we kind of got them in their semi-inspired Road Warrior paint, all that good jazz. Let's see, Braun Strowman won via DQ as Mason T-Bar. They just continued on their assault on Strowman. They were just kicking Braun Strowman's ass too much, wasn't listening to the referee's calls. Drew McIntyre comes out post-match basically for the save. This match essentially gets restarted as a tag team. Mason T-Bar taking on Strowman and McIntyre. Mason T-Bar picking up the dub. A little bit of miscommunication there between McIntyre and Strowman that culminated in Strowman post-match laying out Drew McIntyre. So some serious friction going on right there. Later on in the night, Strowman went up to Adam Pearce, demanded that he gets an opportunity to possibly join Drew and Lashley in that match for the WWE Championship. Kind of reminded Pearce what was going on at WrestleMania, and as far as who got pinned, and just kind of recapping everything that happened with the tournament and all that, trying to figure out who the contender was going to be and all that. Of course, Strowman, hey, I never got pinned. On top of that, hey, look, I won at my Mania match. I should be injected in this. What's up? So he got an opportunity. It was pretty simple for him. Go into his main event match tonight and defeat Drew McIntyre, and he's in. It becomes a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. Braun Strowman picking up the dub. We now got a triple threat at WrestleMania Backlash for the WWE Championship. Not really sure if it was needed. I would have been fine with Lashley and McIntyre because I felt what they did at Mania was actually pretty damn good. Wouldn't mind another one-on-one rematch, but the fact that we got Strowman added into the mix here, I'll take it. I'll take it for what it's worth. I mean, should be a pretty good match on paper when it's all said and done. Other than that, just seeing if there's anything else I'm missing from Raw tonight, something that I really want to elaborate on more. I know we saw Alexa Bliss, but I mean, that was just what corn that was, right? I mean, it's like, just come out and do something already. Still no Wyatt, by the way. He's just showing up sporadically, letting somebody use their little playground set, letting somebody use their little theme entrance. Like, you better go take back that shit. Take back what's yours. No, I don't think we're really missing anything else from Raw tonight. Pretty lackluster episode when it was all said and done. Like I said, I let about 90 minutes go by, and I was just flying right through it. If there's something in particular you want me to talk about, let me know, and I'll gladly cover it. Saw a question that was asked by JoJo, talking about what would your WWE finisher be? God, it's been so many years since I've been asked a question like that, and I kind of feel like I'm an old man now. Um, I don't know about what would my WWE finisher be. I could tell you what my finisher was when I was a aspiring to be a wrestler at one point, and kind of goes back to those days that I told you guys about off and on over the years, where me and my friends, we always get together and we would do like some backyard wrestling shit, and we took it pretty serious. As at one point, we actually made a little fed out of it. We invited people in the neighborhood to come, tune in and check out the shows. One point I was helping out with commentary. I was also helping out with did I do anything for the music selection? Let me think. Now, I didn't do anything with the music. I did do commentary. Sometimes I would talk about finishes for the matches, things of that nature and shit. And the brief little bit I was aspiring to be a wrestler and everything, I had two finishers. One finisher was a sharpshooter, and the other finisher, what was it? The other finisher, it was kind of like John Cena's attitude adjustment, but not quite. Because when I would do it, I basically would leap off one foot, depending on how much the person weighed, and at that point, I used to be able to get about a person who weighed maybe over, I'll say maybe about 180, about 180 pounds, right? About 180 pounds. Anything two and up, I struggled, but my finisher used to be somewhat of an attitude adjustment, except I would basically, as I was getting ready to do it, I basically, with my one foot, I would, kind of, I would almost try to like jump in the air, but I would spin my entire body while I have that person. And then I pretty much would just, as I was doing it, I pretty much would just spin and and then toss their ass off. And I remember one of the first times I had did it, my boy that I did it to, he was like, I don't know what the fuck that was. Keep doing it. That was fun. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, it's fun. And I remember when we went back and we watched the tape later to see exactly what the fuck I did. It was like, yeah, keep doing that. Yeah, keep doing it. That's cool. So, if it was a case where, I think you got to be more specific about WWE finisher, because are we talking about modern era? Are we talking about all time? Are we talking about, everybody has gone through those phases depending on when they were watching the WWE product, you know, leg drop, tombstone pile driver, sweet chin music, people's elbow, rock bottom, you know, the bicycle kick, leg scissor kick. Yeah, I think it just really depends. But that's actually what I was doing at one point when I was trying to be in training to be a wrestler and everything. Um, Look, want to get back to a poll that we had put out Sunday with regards to Impact Wrestling's Rebellion pay-per-view event. And by the way, shout out to those of you that had tuned in for that Impact Rebellion post show. I greatly appreciate it. Originally, I was not even going to order the pay-per-view, but the more I talked about it with the missus, because our wedding is coming up in like less than 40 something days. Yeah, 40 something days. I still haven't been fitted for my tux yet. Whole bunch of shit that we still got to do, that we got to try to finalize, and it's like really, it's crunch time now that we're trying to do this. So it's chaotic in the Sanders household to try to juggle that, juggle class. And I'm already, there's really no rest for the weary, because I'm already looking at the summer classes that I want to take. Because, we kind of talked about it, and it was like, nah, you need to have this degree a lot quicker than humanly possible, so that, we can try to transfer, like ASAP. I still don't know. I don't know if I'm going to try to transfer ultimately to Howard University, or if I'm going to, if I'm maybe gonna go to the University of Maryland. I still don't know which I love the idea of Howard for all of its history and all of that, but then at the same time that would involve me going, that'd be like some serious relocating possibly. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to do all that just yet, but still weighing in the options. So it's a little bit chaotic over here. Wedding, school, trying to get this schedule together for summer classes and all that. But originally I wasn't going to do Impact Rebellion. I was going to order it. And with all that shit going on. And then when I told my girl about the card, she was like, no, you got to order it. You got to cover that. Like, too much shit going on. So I'm glad that, you guys that were hanging out with me in the Discord, checking out the pay-per-view with me, solid. Let's do it again. Let's do it again sometime. And one thing that I did not get an opportunity to talk about on that Rebellion post show, because remember we had got a little bit of a, as my girl put it, because she actually had watched the stream, she was like, troll. We had a troll. It wasn't anything harmful or anything like that. And it was refreshing to get that pat on the back from the missus. Hey, you handled that right. You're getting up there in age as far as being wise and your temperament and all that. It's like nothing's really fucking with you these days. I'm like, yeah, I'm too mellow for my own good. I never got a chance to really elaborate more about Mauro Ranallo and his commentating work that he did. Sure, I talked about how it made me feel and just the excitement as a fan to see him back at the helm again and everything. I know a lot of people were kind of looking at that. And, one thing that you saw that was running around, everybody's going, oh, Mauro Ranallo, that was a great audition that he had for Impact Wrestling. And it's like, guys, hate to break it to you, that was not a audition for Mauro Ranallo. That basically was Mauro Ranallo being acquired, if only for one night. Okay, that's basically what that was. I'm pretty sure that when it comes to having any type of a job, I'm sure Mauro Ranallo, if he wanted to, he could just pick up the phone to any wrestling promotion. Hey, I'm getting the itch. You guys hiring? And Mauro's hired right there on the fucking spot. Mauro does not need to fucking audition for anything. Just really kind of take a step back and think about that for a second, because every month we hear Mauro calling something. If it ain't MMA, it's fucking boxing, right? I mean, he's always loaning his voice to something. So he's not a hard man to find, is the point that I'm making. So, what I look at as far as what went down with him helping out there with Impact, and if you guys didn't check it out, he didn't just do the main event for Swan versus Omega at Sunday's Rebellion. He also did some nice little videos on Omega and Swan that you can check out actually on the YouTube channel. He probably even on the Impact Plus app, basically 5 keys to victory for Omega and 5 keys to victory for Swan. So, it was refreshing to just see him back, even if it's just for a hot minute. I don't think we've seen the last of Mauro. For him to just have that kind of creative freedom, I truly believe that the last thing we should be seeing as fans is Mauro tied down to one promotion. If anything, it's kind of actually badass that Mauro's pretty much this freelance agent and you just don't know where he's gonna pop up. I kind of like that, and I hope that whoever his agent is, if it's still Frank Shamrock. I know he serves like as his best friend and kind of like his agent as well, because I remember some years back we had tried to see about getting an interview with Mauro Ranallo, and I think Frank Shamrock was handling the bookings at the time, and Mauro's schedule at that time was it was a little bit too chaotic, so he couldn't do any interviews just then. But if Frank Shamrock is still representing him and everything, I think, honestly, that's the best way to play it right now. Don't have any allegiance. Don't be tied down to just one contract. Just keep it just like that. You know, if you were to ask me, straight up, where would I like to see him? You know, I know everybody's like AEW, AEW, AEW. It's like, nah, man, AEW is overpacked as it is. AEW's got all the help that they need. They got Jim Ross, they got Shivani, they got Excalibur, they got Taz. Now you got Paul White. Like, they're good. They're good. They don't need anybody else. They don't need anybody else. You know, if hypothetically speaking, if you were to make a power move for Mauro Ranallo, if you're AEW, if you were to make a power move, he's got to be the new face for Dynamite. Plain and simple. He's got to be the new face for Dynamite. Now, what does that mean for the commentating team? If I was in charge and, you know, or if I was in a position of you want my advice, strongly consider this, I'd pull a WCW move, honestly. I would pull a WCW move. Remember how it was on WCW during the first hour and then the second hour and how they would switch out commentary teams? I had no problem with that as a teenager. I thought that was fucking badass, the way that they did that. So, perfect world, for me, first hour, let it be Tony Schiavone. Oh, yeah, that would be badass. Let it be Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, Jim Ross. Second hour, you can let it be Mauro Ranallo and Taz. Or you could pull JR from the first hour and you could let JR be with Mauro. I think that would kind of, but you understand why I kind of broke it up there? You know, I want to have that one legendary, right? That's kind of why I did it the way that I did it. To basically have your whole load in that 1 hour. You feel where I'm coming from? So, that's probably what I would do if I were to try to make a move for Mauro. If I'm AEW, I think that's the only way to do it. The only way to do it. And it would have to stay just like that. That takes a lot of pressure off of Mauro when you really stop and think about it, and a whole bunch of other things. But no, I think AEW is good right now as it stands. I think they're good where they are. Impact would definitely benefit tremendously from acquiring the services of Mauro. I'll tell you somebody else that would benefit tremendously as well. Not for nothing, but you look at how, MLW is now on Vice TV. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. I know we kind of talked about it, briefly. What was it, last week and everything? But, really kind of take a step back and think about it. Think about Vice TV or Vice Land as they call it. You look at how many households that bad boy is in. I mean, good God. I mean, it's pretty good. And the fact that MLW is now on it. And if you really wanted to put some eyes on your wrestling product, you might be able to do a little something with Mauro. I think that would definitely be a really good acquisition as well. As a matter of fact, bear with me a second here. Let me try to see if I can give you the information about the household numbers. Give me a second here. Let me see here. Oh, fuck. Hang on here. Let's see if I got this bitch here. Yeah. Yeah. I think I got it. I think I got it. Let me look here. Yeah, that's not too bad. As of 2016, it was reported that average viewership of Iceland's Nah, that's not really telling me. That's not really telling me. Hang on. Yeah, nah. They're kind of being a little vague about. I remember seeing the numbers a couple of years ago and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty good that they're able to reach that many households." So it's pretty damn good. It's a lot better than what's going on with um Impact on Access TV, for example. Right? I mean, Access TV is okay, but not sadly not everybody has Access TV. Oh, there's a moth in here. Hang on. I got it. I got it. Yay, I got it. So anyway, NWA would be good too. I personally think. I think NWA would actually be pretty good as well. But I mean, this whole thing about Mauro Ranallo was doing audition for him. Nah, let's pump the brakes on that one. Let's fucking pump the brakes on that one, man. So let's talk about this Mickie James shit. So let me see if I got this straight. Mickie James took WWE to task on social media because they basically put her shit on Skid Row. Man, I think I pretty much got the main gist of it, right? They put her shit on Skid Row. So, in case you had missed it, you just see this and you're like, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I had thought when I had first heard about this piece of news because it's just a double whammy here. So her shit was trashed. She actually had a video of the whole shit that she shared on social media. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and others, they reached out to her officially on social media, apologized to her, for everything that had happened, and that the person that was responsible for the mishandling of her personal belongings, they were dealt with. And then you learn, Marc Carrano. So Marc Carrano is now essentially out of a job. Now, more on Marc Carrano in a hot minute. Let's just stay with Mickie James for now. So, I'm not saying she's making a big deal out of it, but she shares on social media, how her stuff was basically trashed and all that. And you're like, okay, she's sharing a video of her belongings that have been sent in a trash bag with her name on it. And that pretty much just ignited, right? So, I'm looking at this and I just couldn't help but go, wow. And to everybody that was just reacting to her, to everybody that was, oh man, that's fucked up. Oh man, that's some bullshit. Oh man, yeah, you go, girl. Yeah, you tell, just, get that like, get that retweet. Hopefully you get that follow. Hopefully you got it, right? Work it, baby. Work it, baby. Work it. Let me tell you something. Those of us that have actually held legit 9-to-5 jobs, okay? Perfect example. You got some shit that's in the refrigerator at your job. Not sure how they got it set up at your job, but most jobs, hey, we cleaning the fridge out this weekend, so if you got something in there, you better make sure you take it home with you, because after Friday, they're going to be cleaning out that fridge. You come in first thing Monday, that fridge going to be clean. It's going to be spick and span clean. Or you get assigned a locker, or you're able to, pick a locker or whatever, right? Somebody loses a job or whatever. Eventually it's going to get to a point where, all right, we got a new hiree Hey, yeah, that new hiree, they said that there wasn't a locker available. Huh? No locker available? Well, that's weird because, we don't hire, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we'll get rid of everybody, find out what their locker number is, and through process of elimination, we'll figure out which lockers are free. It just maybe still has a lock on it, and we pretty much gotta clean the shit out. It's like, okay, bet. Right? So you got little scenarios like that. You have some jobs where, where can I put my coat? Where can I put my, put it in this closet right here. Some people will forget, their last day that they work for whoever. Some people, they'll forget, whatever. You go to the world of basketball or football, and when the teams are active, they're doing their thing. They've got their, most of these players, they're able to pick out their own little sweet spot that they want for themselves. And they pretty much are able to, hook themselves up and everything. As we all know, trades happen all the time. Baseball, basketball, football, trades happen. Soccer, trades happen all the time. Hockey, trades happen all the time. Players that want out of their contract, shit happens all the time. Somebody gets fired. The shit happens all the time. What's typically the protocol? Well, usually, oh man, so yeah, it looks like I got traded to another team. All right, well, now that you got traded to another team, this is your deadline. This is your deadline for you to clean out your locker and, boom. Otherwise, when we get ready to come and we get ready to do our thing, we're going to have to do our thing. So typically there is that ample enough time for you to do what you need to do to collect your belongings and you're done, right? If it's a case of you were unceremoniously fired, like you just sucked so bad at your fucking job, it's like, if you're lucky, you may be able to clean up, your locker. You may be able to clean it out. Typically, though, if it was really, really bad, you pissed off upper management, you pissed off the owners, yeah, we don't want you back on the grounds. We'll mail you your shit. We got your address because we're paying you, so we know where you live. We'll collect your belongings and you'll get it back. We'll ship it to you. We'll FedEx it, whatever. We'll UPS it, whatever. Okay? So what I do find to be most, what's the right word I'm looking for? What I find to be most puzzling about this whole thing with Mickie James is the fact that nobody in WWE, Marc Carrano included, had the common decency to say, okay, you know what, even though we haven't really been properly utilizing this woman, whatever the excuse is, I'm just going to use Mickie James for an example though, right? Any and everything that was asked of this employee to do, they went out there, they did it. No fussing, no mussing, no bitching, no groaning. If they did any of that, they did that shit behind closed doors. Just out of respect for all those years of service, dedication, being a good model employee. You would think that there would be enough decency to at least pick up a phone and say, hey, tough break. Know you got released and everything. It happens. Hey, never say never, right? But hey, think there's some stuff of yours that's still here. You think you can maybe come on by, pick it up? Or at this point, would you just maybe like for us to mail it off to you? We can make sure that it's pretty solid for you. We can make sure that, it's, folded up, put in a nice little box for you if you want. What say you? And then at that point, it's pretty much their call, right? Now, of course, if that said talent that's left shit wherever, if there's been a failure to establish communication with them and you've made numerous attempts, then you got to do what you got to do. For example, you're owed a paycheck from your last job. You refused to show up to that job. Maybe you were just so upset at that fucking employer, like just the sight of that building, the sight of that boss, just that atmosphere, it's enough to make your blood run cold. You don't want to have anything to do with that place. So you're trying to establish communication with them. Hey, I know I got one more paycheck that's coming. Can you guys do me a solid? Can you maybe mail that check? Because I really don't want to be bothered coming up there or whatever. Well, at least you've taken action and you are trying to communicate with them, right? You got that dialogue that's there and everything. But what if you don't try to communicate with them? What do you think is going to happen with that check? Usually those checks are avoided after 90 days. Most checks are in the work environment. Most checks are void after 90 days if it hasn't been cashed by then. So I find it a little bit weird how things were done with Mickie. I'm not justifying the type of behavior or treatment that Mickie James has received. This is something that you kind of, you said most fans, they don't even think about this. They don't. And it's so funny to see people that just, oh man, that fucking sucks. That's some bullshit. That's, it's, folks, I hate to break it to you. But in the real world, that's typically the nature of the beast. That typically will happen in the workplace. I just gave you many examples. I think just the fact that Mickie James was able to even get her stuff is a blessing in itself right there. That somebody, no matter how her stuff might have been presented to her, just the fact that, somebody thought enough of her to take her belongings, gather it up and try to somehow get it to her. I think that act in itself is a unselfish act. Okay, so her items were sent to her in a trash bag with her name on it. Dudettes, I have stayed at hotels where I have left valuable items. And when I try to go back and reclaim them, I'm fucked because somebody took it upon themselves to basically pocket the shit. Oh, I'm gonna keep this. I'll never forget. I remember one hotel trip I had some years back. I left some comic books, some hard paperback books, nonetheless. I left like a couple of them at my hotel room. And when it was time to check out, my God, I probably wasn't even on the road 30 minutes. I was not even on the road 30 minutes. And I pulled over and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I don't think I gotta, nope, they're not here. I get on the phone. I call the hotel. And they're like, nobody's turned anything in, not that I'm aware of. I'm like, really? So, went around, did a U-turn, went back around. I'm like, yeah, hey, I'm the guy that was staying here. I called you about the books, blah, 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 blah. Hey, look, is there any way you can hook me up with access to that room again? Because maybe they're still in there. Yeah, sure, no problem. You got some ID? Yeah, sure, here you go. Go to the room. Room's already been cleaned. I'm like, okay, what's going on with your housekeepers? What's going on with your hotel staff? Whoever was in charge of cleaning the rooms, they for sure got it. Housekeeper, no, did not see anything. No. I'm like, well, ain't this some bullshit? right? So I mean, it's the thought that counts, because most people, telling you, trade, whatever the case may be, most instances, you're lucky if you're able to get your shit back from that locker, or wherever it was of your place of employment. But this is something that I have heard that's been going on for years, not just in a wrestling. Look, credit to some of you guys. You go, oh man, oh that's so sad. Oh man, that's so, you know. No, I think what would be really, damn, that's fucked up, is if her shit was not returned to her. Her shit was actually put in a trash can. And somebody that was just minding their own business, taking out the trash. Oh shit. Hey. Oh, I recognize this. This is, and they fucking take pictures of it, and it's like, oh man, I know exactly whose gear this is. This belongs to, that would be the ultimate slap in the face. That would be the ultimate disrespect. I personally feel, right? Here's the other thing that you got to think of. And I know Mickie James is supposedly going to be saying a lot more about the whole incident, trash gate as she's dubbing it and all that. Look, for me personally, you know what I thought of as soon as this story had first broke out? I thought of that infamous scene from Rocky where he's trying to open his locker, and he's just whistling and everything, and he's at that combination lock, and the locker's not opening up, and he fucking does it again. Then he takes his hat off. He knows he's got the combination code in his hat. He takes it out. He does it again. The locker's not opening, and the little short guy comes in there. He's like, "Hey yo, what's going on with my locker? My locker ain't opening up. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on." It's like, it ain't your locker no more, Rocco. It belongs to. It's like, what? What's my stuff? And his stuff was put on Skid Row. Remember that? You put my stuff on Skid Row? You put my stuff on Skid Row? It's like, you gotta talk to Mickey. Yeah, you need to talk to Mickey. Hey, yo, Mick! Hey, man, I've been coming in here a long time, man. I've been coming in here a long time, and I come in here, and my stuff in my locker is no longer in my locker. What's going on with that, That's what I thought of when I first read this shit. And I just said, so what else is going on? Marc Carrano is what's going on. So Marc Carrano, who apparently was all tied somehow to this, or at least the way things are kind of going, he pretty much has been made the fall guy for this incident. But there has been a lot of wrestlers, personnel, those that obviously want to remain anonymous and everything, that it's not even a 50-50 split. You got the vast majority of people that are very happy that Marc Carrano is out of WWE. You're like, damn, what's going on with this dude? This is a name that I've heard of quite a bit. It's a name we've brought up off and on over the years here on the show and everything. And with regards to Marc Carrano, a lot of people, good. Fuck Marc Carrano. He sucks. Some people felt that he had really good intentions, but that the position, all that power that it entails, it all ultimately went to his head. And it's kind of like sorry not sorry. Some people feel that ultimately he's going to be brought back into the company once things die down quite a bit, because he has so much dirt on so many people. That's, it's kind of like one of those, you don't want to really leave this guy floating around out there and everything. Now, here's what's really funny. Here's what's really funny about all of this. Some of you guys may be saying, well, Lee, no disrespect, dog, but Marc Carrano, who the hell is this dude? Who the hell is this Marc Carrano? And, why exactly would WWE pretty much make him be the fall guy. For those of you that don't know anything about Marc Carrano was the head of talent relations for WWE. So basically, he was the guy that was responsible for the communication between the wrestlers and the various subdivisions within the company. He also was in charge anything that had to do with contracts, signings, contract extensions, bonuses. When it came to that whole shit that was going on with talents trying to go with third party individuals, the Twitches and all that other shit, payroll, mandates. This was the go-to guy. Everything pretty much revolved around him and everything. And he was pretty influential behind the scenes. Very. Remember, he actually early on Total Divas. He popped up for a handful of episodes. He also appeared in multiple episodes of WWE 24, the FCW story. So I mean, he's been featured. He's been featured throughout. No stranger to controversy. No stranger to controversy as well. Some shit had went down. If you kind of Google Marc Carrano, Gil Kim, they'll kind of give you a little bit of a backdrop and everything. Fred Rozier, Darren Young, he took some shots at Marc Carrano. So this is definitely a guy that was not well liked from the company. But he wasn't the only WWE official that was forced out of the company. Apparently, a Nicole Zioli, who was the director of talent relations. And you also had veteran referee John Canoe, who was a senior management of talent relations. They also were released from their respective roles as well. So that just really kind of gives you the context about everything going on there with Marc Carrano. Now you can probably kind of understand what I'm talking about as far as, maybe to a certain degree, the power maybe, went to his head and all that. Now, like, one thing that we all ultimately need to understand, Marc Carrano is, and it's kind of sad that when you stop and really think about it, it's kind of sad that this guy was essentially made the fall guy for this, because it's not Marc Carrano that's going into these locker rooms and, okay, where's this person's stuff? And, if anything, it's probably one of those type of deals where, okay, this person has been released from their contract, they haven't been renewed, we need to send them their final paperwork. And, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a case where he delegated. And this is the main thing that, if you learn anything tonight, home in on this, he probably delegated most likely to somebody else. Hey, Mickie James is no longer under contract with WWE. There's no reason for her to be showing up here at the Performance Center. She's got nothing to do with the company anymore. Do me a solid and make sure her belongings, make sure you're able to get it out to her. Boys and girls, however they were doing it all these years, I wouldn't be surprised if you were to tell me, well, man, multiple wrestlers went on record and talked about how, that's nothing new, that's nothing out of the ordinary. They've gotten their stuff, just like that. They were more so happy that they had got their shit when it's all said and done, because WWE could have been dicks and not even tried to get them back their personal belongings. But he probably relayed the message to somebody that maybe in turn relayed that message. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a chain of command, almost like 3, maybe 4 tiers. And that person who been doing it the way that they normally do it, you feel where I'm coming from? And not to mention, but you think about all the shit that's going on with COVID, how it's highly contagious. Not making excuses, I'm stating the facts. Now some people might say, oh, well, what about dry cleaning? What about this? All of that, use common sense. All of that is extremely expensive. oh, what about maybe going to the USPS or the Postal Service and, really trying to properly, back that stuff up so that, well, they're already spending a pretty penny as it is to ship those personal belongings back to said talent. For those of us that actually have ran our errands at the post office and all that other shit, that shit is expensive. Anybody that is maybe a reseller on Amazon or on eBay, I've definitely been on the receiving end as a eBay seller. And let me tell you something, nothing is more pain in the ass than when it comes to trying to, okay, this item sold, now I got to ship this off to said individual. You've already done your best to factor in, okay, I think it's going to cost me this amount for shipping. And you think that, okay, I'm covered now. But then when it comes time to ship off the product, nah, you got to come up with even more money. Why you think about it for a second, why you think, for those of you that frequent eBay or Amazon, why you think a majority of the time, when it comes to getting your items, let's really home in on, let's go with eBay, because Amazon, typically with Amazon, your stuff usually presentation wise, way it's packaged and all that, it's usually top notch when you're buying brand new. But let's home in more on something like an eBay. Why do you think half the time your stuff will be in some type of a homemade box or whatever? I remember one time I had ordered some comic books, and the bitches came in an empty box of cereal. I bullshit you not. There was bubble wrap and all that, but it came inside a empty box, folded up box of cereal, bubble wrap, and it was basically, their own homemade bubble wrap, it looked like, from what I could see. And they basically were able to put that in one of those envelope sleeves, and the rest was pretty much history, right? So, I wouldn't be surprised if there was just that chain of command, and this is how they've been doing it for years, but because of the day and age that we're in right now, you also got to think about that. We are really in a day and age right now. It's what went down with Mickie. Man, you just think about the people that are evicted from their homes. Anybody that has walked out on the streets and has seen what it is like when somebody gets evicted, them personal belongings ain't put in no trash bags. I mean, that shit is just tossed the fuck out. Typically, like if it's like large furniture, mattresses, and all that shit is just tossed the fuck out. Now, if you're lucky, depending on how the property handles it, in most cases, you'll see, loads of trash bags sitting on top of some of those mattresses and sofas and all of that other shit. It's like it's a free for all. Go ahead, help yourself, right? It's kind of like one of those type of deals. But you also got to realize the type of culture that we're in right now. Sometimes, as I always like to tell you guys, it's easy to just react. It's very easy to just be totally reactionary, especially when you have an appreciation for somebody, especially when you admire somebody. In this case, someone like a Mickie James. I'm sure she has a lot of fans, and I'm sure for a lot of people, they are very reactionary. But when you just kind of really take a step back and you really kind of think about it, sometimes you got to realize, man, the lines are beginning to blur here. Is it truly outrage, or is it a case where it's about playing people on social media so that ultimately you're creating such a buzz, you got your name in the headlines, and that when it's time for you to really, I don't know, really put the focus on your brand, your next business endeavor, that you've been embarking on for a couple of months now with other former wrestlers, and you're trying to figure out, man, we need that moment. We need that thing that'll definitely, not only get me the interview request, but also help put our new business endeavor over, or what. Realize when you guys are getting played versus, okay, is it really about Outrage? Is it really about, just marinate on that. Marinate on that. Let's see. Other than that, I'm going to save that for Wednesday. I was supposed to go into some quarter one earning reports. I'm actually going to get into that on Wednesday's show. So we'll save that for that. By the way, did you guys hear about this one story? I'll close out with this one because it's kind of a funny story. It's kind of a hilarious story. Did you guys hear about this? Apparently there was a woman out in Miami, Florida, accused of drugging her dates, all men. She was accused of drugging them in order to steal their cash and jewelry. You can't make this shit up. She's facing charges as we speak right now. I mean, this girl was doing multiple schemes. A Sydney Compton is her name. She had faced the judge already in a Miami-Dade County courtroom Monday on the charges, and according to the arrest affidavit, Compton met the victim at a place called Sugar, which is a rooftop bar and lounge in Brickell back August of 2019. From there, the two left the bar, went to the man's apartment that was nearby. Victim told police he and Compton started having a few drinks, and after a few minutes, they went into his bedroom where the victim went into a deep sleep. Hours later, when he woke up, he described he felt as though he had been drugged. His Rolex watch missing, his $2,000 in cash stolen. Compton nowhere to be found, but it turns out Compton had been wanted by the police for a couple of years now. She actually had been evading them for about 2 years until earlier this month she was arrested and charged with grand theft for a different but similar case. Right now she bonded out of jail on those charges. However, she was arrested once again Saturday while she was at a restaurant, pretty much trying to do the same goddamn thing. Compton has paid her bond on the latest case as well. She had been charged in yet another grand theft case. She might remain behind bars Monday. So how her bond and bail just kept is beyond me. But that's a deadly game, man. I can't stress this enough, and I can't believe I gotta say this in 2021. I get it. You see this girl, and you're going, man, she kind of has like a Scarlett Johansson kind of vibe going on. Oh man, just imagine if I can fucking get with that girl. Oh man, this girl is actually interested in me. She's digging me. Okay, that's good. Man, I might be able to get them panties, man. That's what's up. I might be able to fucking hit this. Oh, my weekend's going off to a damn good start. Fuck yeah. Like, man, I can't believe I'm saying this in 2021. Don't be taking no motherfucker to your house until you really, 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 really get to know them. You just really, really got to get to know them. Well, that's the last thing you should be doing, is taking them back to your fucking crib. And you don't know. You don't know if they're a hooker. You don't know if they got a pimp that's right around the corner, or if they got like a Bonnie and Clyde situation and you got a tail following you back to your residence and then some stupid shit goes down. You just don't know. So I can't stress it enough. Men, women, don't be letting your guard down like that, especially in this day and age. Did y'all not learn anything from a Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, seriously. One other thing, rest in peace to Isaiah Brown. This one definitely hits very close to home here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. It's a very sad story. Isaiah Brown, not really sure how many of y'all had heard about this tragic story, but Isaiah Brown, I mean, it's just so fucked up. This young guy was having some type of transportation problems. From what I've kind of gathered so far, he was having transportation problems, and there was a nice police officer that he met, and this police officer gave him a ride to his residence. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty cool. All right, cool. And it's so weird because then a 911 call is placed. Isaiah Brown is telling the operator, hey, y'all need to send somebody out. Me and my brother, we got into an argument, and I'm going to shoot him. Seriously, I'm going to shoot him. And the operator's like, why would you say something like that? Why would you, and he's like, I'm going to kill him. Y'all better send somebody out here. The same sheriff's deputy, the same police officer that pretty much had helped Isaiah Brown out earlier, comes back to the scene and everything, trying to figure out what's going on. And, I'm not justifying this police officer's feelings or anything like that, but just based on the call, he probably had that sense of urgency, senses heightened, and just, right, just everything. You're on high alert now and everything, right? Again, not making any judgment. I'm not choosing. I'm just telling you how it is, how it all was laid out. Officer arriving back to Isaiah Brown's house, and somehow this officer mistakes a phone for a gun that was in Isaiah Brown's hand, and this young man, another life lost at the hands of a police officer, as Brown was shot 10 times. 10 fucking times. 10 fucking times. Now, did I say shot and killed? I hope I didn't say shot and killed, because last I checked, I believe he's still alive. Last I heard he was hospitalized. Unless, let me just get a new update for you guys. I believe he's still alive. Hang on. And this went down, for those of you curious, this went down in Spotsylvania County out in Virginia. Let me tell you something, man. When it comes to Virginia, anybody will tell you, Virginia, you don't want to play around when it comes to Virginia, man, because Virginia, many parts out there in Virginia, it's racist. To be totally honest with you, it's racist. They got some of the richest counties out there. Fairfax Station, Fairfax County, Alexandria is a bit expensive as well. See who else. Triangle. See, when you go a little bit more towards Triangle, Fredericksburg, those areas, white as fuck. Mayberry racist as fuck too, if you ask me, because I've had some pretty bad experiences in those neck of the woods. You ain't gonna really find too many minorities out there in those respected woods. You can pretty much forget about it. But yeah, a lot of rich counties out there. I would not live out there. You would not catch me. I don't care if I could win the fucking lottery. And you know what? I ain't moving there. That's the one place you're not going to find me heading to. Let's see. it's touch and go. It's touch and go. I see a new update as of today. And looks like the family's attorney, David Haynes, on Brown's condition is touch and go right now. And I quote, doctors informed the family that there were 10 bullets inside Isaiah Brown's body. 2 were removed at the conclusion during the second trauma surgery. 8 remain in his body. He's on a breathing machine currently. And the family has been informed that he remains in critical condition. So that's what's going on right now. If you want to get a better idea on where my head is at with regards to, what went down with Derek Chauvin and what went down with Micaiah Bryant and all that, there's a free-for-all edition of Wrestling with the Topics that's available on demand in the downloads that you guys can check out. Been receiving a lot of, good positive feedback for that episode. So you guys are more than welcome to check that out. But definitely my thoughts and prayers go out to Brown and his family. And, it's brother's starting to become really numb. Really numb. I'm getting sick and tired of these dumbass police officers that are... Don't even get me started, because I'd be here all night. But I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier. Just as I am accountable for my actions the minute that I leave out the door, you as well are responsible for your own actions. You got to take accountability for yourself the moment that you leave out of your door and everything. And, every time I hear shit like this going on, whether it's a black person, a brown person, just a minority, just the fact that we keep hearing about these shooting incidents where we've got these officers and you can't help but wonder who the fuck trained you. You're training so shit poor. Why are you even a cop? You shouldn't even have that fucking badge. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. But I'm a pause right there. I'm a pause right there, But I tell you what, that whole shit about police reform, what we need is a black lightning. How about that? That's what we need. We need a black lightning right now. Get a black lightning. That's how we'll take care of all that shit. All right, let me give you guys some quick programming notes. So this is what's going to be going down this week. All right, so Tuesday, there is going to be a new RCWR show. I'm strictly only going to be talking about NWA Power. Again, I'm only going to be talking about NWA Power. I know some of you guys like to ask little, random questions, things of that nature. Not going to be doing it on that show. All I'm talking is NWA Power. Now, if you want to react to what you had saw from NWA Power, I'll definitely read your reactions and all that way. But that's going to be happening on Tuesday. Special time, because normally we've been coming on the past couple of weeks after Power has gone off the air. This one's going to be running a little bit late. I'm going to be coming on probably by about 9:15 in the evening is when I'll actually be live. And then Wednesday we'll have our normal RCWR show. Definitely want you guys to check that out. And that'll come on after Dynamite has gone off the air. Wednesday night after Dynamite has gone off the air. Interesting poll. Let's close out on a happy note. Interesting poll. I was asking you guys for feedback. And the poll that I put up, it's on youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the Communities tab. As discussed during the Impact Rebellion post show, I went into the whole Kenny Omega. Is he really the best champion that's running around right now? Or is he actually, among the worst? Is he the most lackluster champion for a promotion in recent memory? And we gave you guys some voting options that were there. So I want you guys, if you haven't voted already, if you haven't looked at that poll, go over to that poll and cast your vote And we'll get into the results and talk a lot more about it on Wednesday's show. But your picks right now: champion Seth Rollins era with the Authority and J&J Security, Kenny Omega, Jinder Mahal, other. And for other, I tell you clear as day, and I want to make sure we're really stressing this. When you're typing in other, all I need you to do is type in the name of the person you feel that, no, Lee, based off the names you selected, none of those, because I'm actually thinking about this guy in recent memory. And you don't have to give me an essay, but just give me some bullet points defending your choice for other. Some people have been using, and I appreciate everybody that's been interacting, but some people have been taking the other as a way to have there be unnecessary dialogue, especially like, well, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins because I don't need that. I appreciate reading stuff like that, but I don't need that. What I need for you to only do, if you go in other, you're going in other because you don't like any of those first three names that's on the list. And so you're typing in another name. So yeah, go vote. And we'll talk more about that on Wednesday. So good shit. And in the meantime, I'm going to say that's it. Stick a fork in it. This show is done right at about the 2-hour mark. So I am excited for that. Be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And that is going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in live. Appreciate you guys as always. Appreciate those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads. I will catch you guys for Tuesday night's NWA Power. Till then, please be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Take care.